Good evening, everyone. Thanks a lot for staying with us. You're watching PlainSpeak with me, Shivani Gupta. Another brutal attack has come to light in Karnataka, in Shivamogga to be precise, and prima facie motive is religious hate and intolerance. In fact, police are saying Prem Kumar was stabbed amidst tensions over Veer Savarkar and Tipu Sultan for just wearing a tilak over his forehead. You heard that right. A man has been brutally attacked with an intention to kill and was chosen by radicals only because he wore a tilak. In other words, purely because of his Hindu identity. In India, a man is being attacked for just being Hindu and wearing his religious symbols. This is an ugly reality of attacks in India that many want to bury under the carpet, because how can majority Hindus be victims of systematic hatred or prejudice or crime? That narrative that Hindus cannot be in danger just because they are bigger in number has been crushed by many such cases repeatedly. But why let facts come in the way of narratives? Well, on PlainSpeak, we believe in not just crushing such bogus narratives, but also highlighting ugly realities. Is it not true that Hindu faith is the most maligned, most under attack in India? A soft target, in fact, because it is the majority faith. Before I take those questions to our guests, here are some of the other details of the case. Now, here are some chilling details that we're picking up from the police as far as the attack on Prem Singh is concerned. That he was attacked purely because he was sporting a tilak. He was chosen because he was sporting a tilak. He was chased for 300 meters before being attacked by multiple assailants, and the accused fled from the scene assuming that Prem had died on the spot. So clearly the intention was to kill. In fact, we also spoke to those who knew Prem, and this is what they had to say.
सर, ये घटना किस तरीके से घटी, क्या हुआ उस दिन?
ये भाग के आ रहा था, इनके जैसे ही है वो, इसलिए आ रहा था। आते ही उसको उधर से टारगेट कर दिया। उसके ऊपर तिलक लगाया हुआ था, वो हिंदू के ऊपर टारगेट है। तिलक लगाया हुआ था, हिंदू के ऊपर टारगेट हुआ है। हमें वो नहीं कहते कि यहाँ वाले एक मारवाड़ी एक वो नहीं, ये एक हिंदू है। हिंदू के ऊपर तिलक लगाया हुआ था, तिलक लगाने के हिसाब से ये हिंदू के ऊपर टारगेट किया है।
Now, the atmosphere was already tense in Shivamogga because of a face-off over posters, Savarkar and Tipu posters over the last few days. But this is what happened even as the country was celebrating Independence Day yesterday. Hindu groups were trying to put up Savarkar banner in the area, but the Muslim side opposed and they tried to put up Tipu posters instead. Both sides ultimately clashed. Cops had to resort to lathi charge. Prem Kumar was stabbed in the aftermath of these clashes. Now, Section 144 has been imposed till August 18. In fact, flare-ups over Savarkar were not limited to Shivamogga alone. Similar incidents have taken place in Tumkuru and Udupi as well. In Udupi, in fact, PFI, which is another body that has been garnering headlines for all the wrong reasons, especially in Karnataka, they are objected to Savarkar posters. Now, another question we will raise today is just who has the right to resort to violence over Savarkar posters? And if some do that, then what will happen if others tomorrow start objecting to not just posters but symbols of Mughal rulers in India, for example? There are, of course, many questions that arise, but here is another one. What's happening in Karnataka? Is it a state in crisis over law and order, and especially over religious flare-ups? Because just this year in Karnataka, there's been many such cases that have come to light. Hate and religious murders. February 20, the case that many of our viewers would remember, Bajrang Dal leader Harsha was killed in Shivamogga, in fact. In July 20, 19-year-old Muslim boy was murdered in Bellare. On July 26, Bharatiya Janata Party Yuva Morcha worker Praveen Nataru was killed in Bellare as well, and it is believed that a lot of these cases are linked, but there was massive uproar on the streets against the ruling BJP government as well. And finally, on July 28, 23-year-old Mohammad Fazil was also murdered in Bengaluru. Some of these cases seem connected, but by and large, there seems to be a problem, especially ahead of elections that are now bound. Before we go to our guests, the big question, of course, that we're asking is Hindu faith not a soft target? Here is what the political protagonists are saying.
ಫೋಟೋ ಹಾಕಕ್ಕೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಮುಸಲ್ಮಾನರು ಏರಿಯಾದಲ್ಲಿ ಹಾಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, ನಮ್ದು ತಕರಾರಿಲ್ಲ, ಯಾವ ಫೋಟೋಗಳು ಹಾಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಬಟ್ ಮುಸಲ್ಮಾನರು ಏರಿಯಾಕ್ಕೆ ಯಾಕೆ ಹಾಕೋದು? ಆಯಿತು, ಅವ್ರು ಹಾಕೋದು. ಟಿಪ್ಪು ಸುಲ್ತಾನ್ ಫೋಟೋ ಯಾಕೆ ಬೇಡ ಅಂತ?
ये मुसलमान लोगों में कौन सीनियर्स है उसको मैं रिक्वेस्ट कर रहा हूँ, आपका यूथ राष्ट्रद्रोही काम वो कौन कर रहा है, उनके ऊपर आप उनको क्या बोलना बोलो, नहीं तो ये हिंदू समाज है और पुलिस डिपार्टमेंट है, उनको क्या हम सिखाना है, हम सीखेंगे।
I want to go across to the guests who are joining us. Mohan Vishwa is Karnataka BJP spokesperson. Nagaraju Yadav is from Karnataka Congress. Ratan Sharda, RSS research and author. Khaliko Rahman is a political analyst. And R.K. Upadhyay, senior journalist, all joining us. Let me go across to Ratan Sharda first up. Ratan Sharda, is this not a shocking case? I mean, even if it's not surprising anymore, it is still shocking that people are choosing who they will attack, even if in heightened situation or when there are heightened tensions, purely on the basis of their religious symbols on their body. What could be worse than this? And is this not a reality of many such attacks which some don't want to accept?
There are multiple dimensions to this, Shivani. First of all, there are groups of people in Islamic society in India, Muslim society in India, who are looking for some kind of disturbances so they can justify their persecution. They're also trying to create unrest since, if you can recall, at least from CA days, I will not go much farther than that, but from CA onwards, you have seen sustained efforts to create disturbances, to create tensions, and that is one. Secondly, they know that Hindus don't turn violent, so they take advantage of this. Third, the targeted killing is definitely a Hindu hate crime. Unfortunately, our secular illiberal groups have continuously given them cover fire. They have continuously supported them, by some excuse the other, playing victim card. And I think this has to stop. And lastly, they are testing the law and order machinery. All these goons are trying law and order machinery to see how far they will go. I am again reminded of 1946-47, when from 1920 Mopla riots onwards, the Muslim community run by the Maulvis was given a veto power over the much educated, better modern Muslims, and this veto power of the street is something that is worrying for India. I think that is what is going to take us down unless we take firm steps to stop this targeted killing, a Hindu hate, which is covered up in various kind of other verbs, where we'll have panelists who will try to defend it, or we will make rounded excuses.
Or in such cases, we hear that this is a law and order situation. Whoever has committed the crime must be booked.
It is not
when
murder.
it is a crime against the minority community, though, we have all heavens breaking loose. We are told that the entire Hindu community is to be blamed for it. We are told that the entire country has become intolerant. But what could be, Khaliko Rahman, more intolerant than the fact that you're actually killing people over Veer Savarkar's posters? I mean, your objection to Veer Savarkar aside, that's a political, ideological debate that one should indulge in. You cannot kill people just because they're putting a poster of somebody you don't like and then choosing Hindus pinpointedly. Khaliko Rahman.
Yeah, because this is very unfortunate, and it is really shocking that a particular community was targeted and then was attacked.
Why do you think so?
Especially,
Why are we
these
reaching such
kind of
levels of
incidents-
intolerance and religious, mindset?
Absolutely, that's
where
what.
Despite
that is
the
what I'm
fact that we
coming to.
live
That's
together in all of these societies, in all of these areas, it's become almost
Absolutely.
impossible to live together like this, especially in such areas.
That's where I'm coming to, actually, to answer your question. This is actually not the mindset of the majority of the Muslims. There are miscreants which are there in every community, be it Muslim or any other community. So the few miscreants actually do this, and unfortunately the entire community is blamed.
No, the problem happens is, Khaliko Rahman, I get your point, but the problem also happens is that we don't see the larger Muslim community come out in strong numbers and object to this. I mean, look at what happened in the name of Nupur Sharma's comments. People were beheaded. Where was the larger Muslim community?
No. See, as for the Nupur Sharma's case was concerned, because Nupur Sharma case, in fact, is something where not only the Muslim community within India stood up, but it is we have even had the foreign countries, especially the Arab nations.
But sir, killing in the name of blasphemy, beheading people is still something you can stand up against.
No one actually. I mean, those who have actually supported the
Can I come in?
I'm losing.
सर तंग से जुदा vehemently condemn those kind of slogans.
Where is that condemnation, Khaliqur Rahman? I'm waiting for it. That condemnation cannot happen in just passing terms. I'm sorry to say, it's not a regular event. And this is the problem. You're absolutely right when you say that this is not the mindset of the larger Muslim community. But then the larger Muslim community needs to make itself heard. Before I go across to others, Ratan Sharda wants to come in. Ratan Sharda, my point is exactly this. Of course, it is not everybody, whether it is Hindus or Muslims, and I'm not trying to deny that there haven't been crimes where pinpointedly Muslims have been targeted in India. But one, the response to such crimes is not the same when the perpetrators are from the minority community. And secondly, the larger community is not rising up the same way that Hindus do. There are campaigns, not in my name. We don't hear that from the Muslim community when, let's say, people are killed and beheaded in the name of blasphemy. In whose name is that?
Shivani, we have been told time and again about 3 Muslims who were lynched by the crowds. Most of them, the cases were about cow protection.
Yes.
Let it be. But against these 3 names being recited every day on every debate by all these people, do they remember 150 Hindus who were lynched and killed for just being Hindus? Do they remember how many were lynched in last 2 months alone in the name of Nupur Sharma? How many of them have condemned the entire approach of this community that they will rule the street on the very strength that they are intolerant, but they are allowed to offend others? How many Hindus go out on the street to fight and create violence in the street for all this Kashi Vishwanath insult? None. So let us not try to equivocate. When anybody makes a statement, extremism bad on both the sides. How many extremist elements have been found on the Hindu majority side? 100 crore people, how many cases have you seen of violence against Muslims? Just because somebody speaks, you say it's a genocide, but here is their practical example of killing people, and they have opposition to Savarkar. Who is their model? Tipu Sultan. Tipu Sultan, for whom Iyengars don't celebrate Diwali in Melekot for last hundreds of years because 800 Iyengars were killed in cold blood in Melekot. Is this one Tipu Sultan who destroyed 8,000 temples, who not only that, he killed Hindus and Christians for not converting tied down to elephant legs?
Okay,
and torn to
I'll
pieces?
go. I don't want to go to
supporting
that
Tipu
historical
Sultan to
row
go to
because
Zaman Shah
Ratan
for
Sharda,
coming to
while there may
India
be
to make it a
disagreements,
caliphate?
and that disagreement is fine in a democracy. The point is we cannot be killing people just because they're putting up a poster.
How
And-
can two be a model of Hindus and Indians? How
Okay,
can
Khaliqur
Tipu
Rahman,
Sultan be
please finish.
celebrated?
Then I have to go to our other
That was
guest.
Savarkar.
Khaliqur
If
Rahman,
Savarkar
Arke
said
Padhe, I'm
anything
coming to
about-
you next. I'll go to our political representatives last. Yes, Khaliqur Rahman.
Yeah. No. First of all, I think what we need to do is actually, we have to, when we come, especially on debates like this, instead of, targeting a different community or targeting the Hindu or the attacks on the Muslims, what we have to do is we have to, first be united, at least on the debate, so that we can send across the right message to the people and to the community and to the nation. So what is important
We are
is
very much
whoever is
united that
actually,
none of us stand for violence. I think we're very united on that.
Absolutely. No,
But
no,
let's
no, no,
not kid
absolutely.
ourselves.
No, no.
Let's
No, no,
not kid
absolutely.
ourselves.
That's what-
Let's not
that-
pretend that everything is
No.
hunky-dory and not talk about the realities on the street.
No, that is right. That is where, see, what happens
What are
is
you
because
doing on the streets?
any kind of extremism from any community is not tolerable. So it is definitely.
It is not tolerable, sir, but the moment
law and order
action
situation,
happens,
the police has-
then there are these groups who rise up and say Muslims are being targeted in India. When these extremist actions like beheadings in the name of blasphemy happen, everybody is nicely quiet.
No. Who are
Right?
those groups from the
They
Muslim
were
community?
not
Can you
quiet
name them?
over Nupur Sharma. They raised the pitch, they raised fever pitch over her comments, and then suddenly hit when people started getting killed. I'm sorry, that's not done. It is plain to see. Okay, sir, I'll come back to you. R.K. Upadhyay, is this becoming a particular problem in Karnataka? That's the question I want to ask you, where these groups, these religious groups are often clashing with each other, young lives are being lost, and this is very much a state law and order situation. The state doesn't seem to be able to control it.
I think it's not just restricted to Karnataka. We should look at it from a broader perspective. Unfortunately, these debates about Savarkar or Tipu Sultan, it's become something like us versus them. Why is it? I mean, is it as if Savarkar is a hero only for Hindus and Tipu is a hero only for Muslims? I don't think so, because this is not the case. They're heroes for everybody. In fact, it's a completely wrong notion that we should look at them separately as Hindus or Muslim leaders, because they have contributed so much to the country's independence movement, and they were fiercely patriotic people, brave fighters against the British rule, and in their own right, they deserve to be applauded. And I don't see, for example, when it comes to Savarkar, everybody talks about, especially right wing people, oh, he wrote to the British and sought clemency. I mean, why don't they talk about the number of years he spent in cellular jail in Andamans and the brutal torture he underwent? And what was wrong with, asking to get out of the jail?
No,
I mean,
you're
any
absolutely
human
right.
being
But
would
sir,
do
due
that.
to
But
time
why don't we
issues,
look
I'm
at
not
his
going into
contribution?
the
No,
historical
we should
issues
also
of
look
both
at his
Savarkar and Tipu
contributions.
Sultan. I can't have that historical debate. What do you make of the situation on ground in Karnataka though? Why are tempers so high that people are willing to kill each other over posters?
Now, that's what
Why
I'm
has this
saying.
happened?
But this is the mischievous game being played by the political parties, and people need to realize that the politicians are pitting one community against other. So we need to have a historical perspective about these things.
Okay.
Why can't Savarkar be a hero? I mean, he was one of those propagated Hindutva, but he was never a Hindutva icon in that sense. I mean, he did not agree with cow worshipping or considering.
Yeah, he was not a very traditional
So you need to
Hindu
look at,
activist, but he was, of course, the leader of the Hindu Mahasabha, but a very different progressive leader in his time. But sir, again I say, I cannot get into this discussion. Let me go across to our political representatives, because the question has been raised over the role that political parties are doing. Nagaraju Yadav, I'm coming to you. When we talk about cover fire to such crimes, we talk about statements like the one that Siddaramaiah has given, that what was the need to put up a Savarkar poster in a Muslim area? Now, this is exactly the kind of exclusivity that has been provided by the Congress party and others, that you cannot do certain things in Muslim areas in India, that has led to this situation. Because now, even in simple act of putting up a poster is almost inviting murder.
No, can I speak?
Yes.
The idea of Mr. Siddaramaiah speaking is this: there is recent past, there was a lot of problems in the Muslim area or in the Shivamogga, where law and order was not controlled properly by the local, the Mr. Home Minister Narendra, who is hailing from Shivamogga, was not able to handle the law and order situation. Situation was not good. It was all a very serious matter and sensitive in nature. That is an idea. Why was it allowed when there is already a issue of communal
But why
clashes
should
there?
a Savarkar
Every 3 weeks there is
poster be a
communal
law and
clash in
order
Karnataka
situation,
today.
sir? Why
minute.
should be a Savarkar poster be an
I will-
excuse
no,
to kill
let me-
people?
Let me complete. No, let me complete it. The main reason today that so much of intolerance in Karnataka and India is only because the ideology of BJP of dividing, divisive in nature for political gain is the reason of intolerance in Karnataka and India. That is the reason the youngsters today are, especially a minority community, is pushed to a corner of living in fear. That is creating
How
a
does
problem
a
in
Veer
Karnataka because
Savarkar
the law and
poster
order situation
create
is not
fear?
in good
Do
times.
you
I
think
will tell
people
you.
kill
I will tell
others
you one
in
thing.
broad daylight and stab
One
them
minute.
because they are fearful?
No, I condemn.
You are making
Let me tell you
excuses for
one
murder.
thing, whoever has taken law into, no, I'm telling you, anybody has taken law into his hand trying to kill somebody is not acceptable, Congress, not
And
acceptable
yet you
anybody
have
in India.
justified
We will
this
not
murder,
tolerate
this
that. The
attack.
situation-
Yet you've justified it by saying
we will-
that the
we will
accused
not-
was so afraid for their own
Congress-
safety, as if they did this in self-defense.
No. Siddaramaiah's sentence was not for that reason. Definitely we condemn the act, whatever has happened, either from the minority group or from the majority group. We condemn it. Actually speaking, he was trying to say that why the law and order administration is not in place. Why are they not taking intelligence to confidence?
Why does the
and
Congress
getting
party
the
not
things
ask
in
the
place?
question
They are
that
trying
you dare not kill people over a poster? It's as simple as that.
They cannot. Not only the poster, I'm telling you, they not only they took the law into their hand. While removing the Savarkar's photo, they insulted the national flag also. This all to be condemned. I don't say no.
And
Whether
yet,
it is Tipu or whether
this
it is
whole
Savarkar, it's a
narrative of
different
the
story
minority
altogether.
being
Killing
under some
killing-
great
one
duress
minute.
and fearful,
One
and that is why this
But
is happening.
killing-
I'm sorry,
No,
I don't
no,
buy it. Sir, Mr. Yadav, with
No.
due respect, I don't buy it.
1 minute, I'll tell you, madam. No. One thing I'll tell you, madam, killing on religious basis is not correct. The responsibility of the state government maintaining the law and order, or they failed on their responsibilities. Today I'm telling you, in
But
Anil
what
Kumar
is the
Patil's
role the
constituency,
opposition is
3
playing? I'm
murders
exactly
happened in 10
talking
days.
about the
What
cover
is going?
fire. that we hear when such crimes happen. Your tone is very different, I'm sorry to say, Mr. Radav, as a Congress representative, when a Muslim, for example, may be attacked by a Hindu. Then you don't talk about reasons that may be there. You don't rationalize the crime.
No. Whether it's a Hindu or a Muslim, killing is killing, murder is a murder.
And yet you said, sir, and yet you said that minorities are living in fear. That is why they are pushed into doing these acts. I'm sorry, that is not a rationalization I can accept.
I don't justify.
Mohan Mishra, the question that goes to the BJP is that one, you've been unable to handle law and order situation in Shivamogga and in several parts of Karnataka, and two, that you are willing to let this play out, this rivalry between religious groups, because ultimately this polarization helps you, the BJP.
Anusha, it's totally
this is Shivani.
wrong.
One second, this is Shivani Gupta this side.
Shivani, sorry. Shivani, it's totally wrong. We being in the ruling party, let it be in the case of Harsha's murder also, the case has been handed over to NIA, the culprits were arrested and put behind the bar. In the case of Praveen
But why do such murders happen on a daily basis? I've read out in July alone, 3 murders have happened.
No, let me finish, Shivani, okay? In the case of Praveen Nettar also, and I want to give you the seriousness of NIA, how it works. There was a murder which has happened in 2016 by Mr. named Rudresh in Shivaji Nagar. When the case went to NIA, it's almost 6 years. You won't believe it, not even a single person have granted bail in that. This is the seriousness of investigation which is going on. This is the kind of seriousness which our government is taking. Now, the biggest question to be asked for the Congress is, Mr. Siddaramaiah, who's known for appeasement politics, just for the sake of Muslim vote bank, the kind of things which he did when he was ruling. What did he do?
No, but you cannot put the blame on Congress anymore. I'm sorry, they've been out of power enough.
No.
You are in power, you're responsible.
When they are fueling for the fire, these culprits are taking law into their hand.
No, but you're supposed to handle law and order. You cannot excuse yourself.
No, I'm not excusing. What I'm telling is our ruling party is doing everything for the protection of everybody for that matter. It can be Harsha, it can be Fazil, it can be Praveen Nettaru, anybody for that matter. But I will tell you one more example. Mr. Zamir Ahmad Khan, who is a Congress MLA, you know what does he do? In the case of KJL, DJL riots, when these culprits are coming out of prison, these fellow carries 2,000 rupees notes in hand and he distributes to for those culprits. And in the same thing happens in the case
the
of
Congress will face question over that. But sir, ultimately you are in power. By you I mean the BJP. If you can't handle it, then it's your problem. On top of that, the BJP is facing a lot of upheaval on ground that you seem to be unable to safeguard your own constituencies, your vote banks' lives. As a government, you're responsible for everyone. But you are facing a lot of heat since Praveen Nettaru's murder.
Incident also, the culprits have been arrested within 12 hours and a person who wanted to stab to a police officer has been shot on his leg. Please understand, this is the kind of serious action our government is taking on anybody for that matter, irrespective of any religion. In the case of Fazil murder also, within 2 days, all the culprits were arrested. Please understand. So we are doing our duty correctly. But the problem is when we are doing our duty properly, being a responsible opposition party, they are fueling. I'm telling you, they are putting fuel to the fire.
And it looks like this is not going to end because elections are now near the corner, and you know all of this is always fodder for all political parties. I leave it at that. We'll leave it for our viewers to judge exactly what's happening in the name of religion and religious intolerance.